Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection MMPR Season 3/movie Ninja Ranger figures for Rocky and Aisha. And this review will answer key questions like, does Rocky just want to have fun? And do you want to boogie with the bear? Find out some of this and less in this review. So this is kind of part of the wave of getting the rest of the Ninja figures done. Catherine also just recently came out at the same time. I'm only covering her separately because I wanted to talk specifically about the similarities and differences with the Kim release. But these obviously do have one previous release, which were the 90s figures based solely on the movie, which I'll cut away to footage of now a little bit. And obviously these are the superior picks. I mean, you don't have the Season 3 mode number 1. Those figures actually aren't so bad, even surprisingly decent-ish head sculpts for the time. But if you're looking for the best version of the figures, you found them here. And that's part of the reason I personally really like these figures, is because we never really got these modes. And it's really nice to finally have figures of them, even if they're not perfect. So accessories-wise, they both come with alternate hands, which you can hear me fumbling with in the background. Rocky has two just sort of martial arts, sort of finger curled hands, and Aisha has karate chop hands. In addition to the closed fists they both have on them, aka the classic figure arts fists. I know they're not figure arts, but I kind of always think of them as classic figure arts fists. They also have their generic lightning effects you always get, and then they have two alternate heads. Have the more close to civilian mode one that Rocky looked so good. Looking good, Rocky. Aisha almost just fell over. I don't know if you saw it in the blurry background. But anyway, the more classic civilian head, which was primarily in the movie and the morph sequence, this definitely looks a little more like royalty-free Rocky, but honestly, so long as it gets close enough to the mark, I'm fine with these. You have the midway point mode from both the transformation and the sort of quote-unquote morphed mode from the movies, which honestly looks good, and then the underneath piece here for this and the other one. Here you have Aisha's civilian head, which I honestly think looks a little closer to realistic than Rocky's, but honestly they're both overall fine for me. And then her midway point head sculpt as well. Again, something I really do like about these figures is I love that they included all the different modes so that you can have it representing your collection for the movie or the Season 3 suits, or both, you know, if you want to pick up multiples. It's just really nice. You know, some lines might have actually, especially this one that likes to milk MMPR, I totally could have seen them done movie releases and then Season 3 releases. And I like that these are kind of more the complete package. It makes them a lot more compelling. Articulation-wise, they both feature the same classic articulation for these figures. Nice ball joint is swiveling at the leg, knee joint right here. You have a little ball joint here at the foot. You have waist and chest articulation, but it is hindered by the cloth piece being solid. Like, it exists there, but it makes it harder to overall access it compared to other ones. You have the nice ball joint at the arm, swiveling, elbow joint here, swiveling at the fist, and then you do have a nice ball joint for head and neck articulation, both of which are the same. No loose joint problems or anything like that. As I've stated in the previous reviews of the other ones, my only real problem with these figures is the gap you have in the elbows, which is just kind of unavoidable because you are representing a cloth design that is like more poofy and stuff. So, I mean, I'm sure they could have maybe made it a little bit better, but then you wouldn't be able to bend the elbow. So even though it's the only thing that's a quote-unquote eyesore for me with these, it overall doesn't bother me that much because I understand it was difficult to work with. But outside of that, I'm overall really happy with these figures. I think they did a really good job replicating the cloth look of them. The proportions look right. They overall just look really good to me, and I'm really happy with them. I know that there was some notorious QC issues with some of these in the earlier releases, so look out for that. I was pretty lucky I didn't have any loose joint problems or any of those major issues. In fact, the closest I got was I think that there's like one tiny brown paint splotch on my cat figure, and then right here you can see there's a little bit of splotchiness around the bottom of this belt here, but that's not anything huge. Like, honestly, it could be far worse. And overall, I'm really happy with these figures. My reviews for all of these are pretty much the same. I almost wish they would have just all came out at the same time and reviewed them in one shot. But I'll just say that if you're a fan of these modes like me, I can definitely recommend picking these up. They're not perfect, but I like that we finally have figures of them, and they're really awesome figures of them. And honestly, you don't really have too many other choices outside of buying the 90s figures for nostalgia, and even then you're not going to be able to represent the Season 3 mode. But that's about it for this one, guys. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell. You can get notifications for all my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out. I like how I'm using these guys as puppets. It's just weird.